Planet Dolan.
From kitchen plates trying to kill us to shadow figures haunting our houses, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the scariest encounters we've had with the supernatural. Part 2. I'm Doopy, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by PokemonEvil. Dolan was home alone once when he heard a whisper telling him to get out. The next morning, he woke up and a large splatter of blood was on the wall. He decided to get out and go for a walk. I wouldn't blame him. When he returned, someone had scratched the words, "Get out," on his wall. He went into the kitchen and suddenly plates started attacking him. The lights went out and he could hear a little creepy girl's voice singing, "Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, you all fall dead." When he woke up the next morning, his carpet was soaked in blood. He finally got the message and got the hell out of that house. Number 9 was submitted by Seafoamspirit. Pringle once got permission to camp on the side of a quarry that mysteriously exploded in the 1930s, killing 50 men. He was camping near the site when the ground started shaking and an extremely loud bang woke him up. 10 minutes later, he heard quick whispers coming from all directions, and then it went eerily silent. All of a sudden, a weak voice that sounded like it was gargling blood asked Pringle, "Why me?" He freaked the fuck out and ran away from the quarry, leaving his equipment behind. Number 8 was submitted by Moth258. Helmet got up to get a snack one night and walked down the stairs when he immediately got the feeling that something wasn't right. So he used his phone as a torch and looked around. Through the window, he could see a pitch-black face staring at him with eyes that seemed to just be holes going straight through its head. It had its hands on the window. It smiled at him before sinking out of sight. He went closer to the window and he saw it walking off on all fours. It was abnormally thin, and once it was down the driveway, he saw it glance back at him before a gust of wind blew snow in front of it. Luckily, he never saw it again, nor did he want to. Number 7 was submitted by MrSnnugleBugs. When Gooby was 8 years old, she heard a noise in her kitchen at 2 a.m. one morning. She then heard a strange whisper, so she grabbed her cat and decided to check it out. In the middle of her kitchen, she could see all the cabinets were open and a black figure standing there, looking at her. She froze with fear and just stared back while her cat hissed and ran away. She stepped back slowly, then ran back to her bedroom. When she returned to the kitchen the next morning, all the cabinets were open, but the black figure wasn't there. Number 6 was submitted by the G-Man5918. When Gurgak was young, 2 children mysteriously died in his neighborhood one night. The following night, he woke his family with a blood-curdling scream. He managed to fall back to sleep before waking up again in terror 3 hours later. His mother asked what happened, and the only thing he could remember was a pale face looking at him with a terrified expression. He didn't know whether it was a dream or not. The next morning, he found out he had woken up screaming at the exact times each of the children were found dead the night before. Number 5 was submitted by Bestleeever. When Ramona was in the 4th grade, she was washing her hands in the bathroom when someone screamed and ran out of the toilet stall. She asked what was wrong and the girl shouted to get away from the handicap stall. Instead of walking away, like a normal person, she turned around and saw a pure white ghost with no legs below her knees. Her hair was up in a high bun, and she had a single drop of blood dripping from her mouth. Oh, and she also had no eyes. Ramona screamed, and both of the students ran as far away from the bathrooms as they could possibly run. Number 4 was submitted by TheLangenator. A few years back, Melissa tried lucid dreaming and was finally successful. Everything was fine for about 10 minutes, then she started to see tall, silhouetted figures with glowing white eyes following her around, and she could hear faint whispers. As the minutes went on, there were more and more of them until there was about 50 figures. She tried to fly away in her dream when all of a sudden she fell to the ground. and they swarmed her. She woke up, but several of the figures were standing over her bed in the real world. She was completely unable to move or scream. One of them slowly moved its head close to her ear and whispered in her own voice, "You've made a big mistake," before finally fading into the darkness. She hasn't had a single dream since. Number 3 was submitted by Stinny8504. During a school field trip, Emoji once visited an old castle to learn the history of medieval times. The teacher wanted the students to buddy up, but since there were an odd number, Emoji was left out. Eventually, Emoji got distracted and noticed his class was gone. A kind man in a robe appeared out of nowhere and offered his hand. He looked nice enough, so Emoji walked with him for what felt like hours. He noticed it was getting dark, so he asked the man if he actually knew where his teacher was. The man looked down, smiled with tears in his eyes, and whispered, "Sorry," and his head fell off. Emoji screamed and ran away, but not before seeing his body disappear into thin air. He found his class, but nobody ever believed his story. Number 2 was submitted by Zodiac Balance. When Pandora moved to a new house once, the first thing she noticed was a pitch-black figure hiding up a tree. It stared at her with blood-red eyes. Whenever she would run to a different room, it would follow her, circling the house. Weird things started happening every night. One morning, she woke up with all of the kitchen chairs around her bed in a circle. The next night, she slept in her brother's bunk bed. During the night, the metal ladder on the bed somehow detached and smashed loudly onto the ground. As scared as she was, her parents refused to move house because they thought she was making it all up. Number 1 was submitted by me. So, as some of you may know already, my grandmother's house is extremely haunted. I made a video about it on my own channel, so instead of talking about that, which you can honestly go to my channel and listen to it, I'm going to tell you guys something very exclusive that is not on my channel that happened to my family that has nothing to do with my grandmother's house. So we moved into this 2-story house, which is really weird because we normally couldn't afford such a luxury. It was a beautiful house in a beautiful neighborhood, and it was honestly too good to be true. So one of the first thing I asked my parents was, "Do you think this place is haunted?" They obviously said no. I mean, why should they believe that? They just got a fucking amazing deal on this beautiful house, you know? Why doubt it? They were terribly wrong. During the night, we would hear clashes of plates and silverware and the cabinets in the kitchen, which was really weird. And we had these L-shaped stairs that whenever we would go up them, we wouldn't want to turn the corner without turning the light on because we were all very scared that we would see something at the top. And one thing about that house that scared us so much is that sometimes we would hear people whispering our names. I remember one time in specific, I was sleeping on the couch in the living room because I just discovered anime and I was gonna fucking watch it all night in the living room. And I woke up in the middle of the night hearing my sister call my name, whispering my name in my ear. And I opened my eyes and looked and there was nothing there, which freaked me out, so I just kind of covered my face with a blanket and hoped it went away until I fell asleep again. Yeah, stuff like that happened a lot, and we never really talked about it until after we moved. And that house, 10 years later today, is still up for sale. They can't keep anybody in it, so I don't think we're the only ones. Huge thanks for the folks over in our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What's the worst time you were caught lying? Let us know in the Reddit page linked below and you might be featured in a future countdown. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you soon. Number 5 was submitted by, I don't know how to pronounce this name, Bestleeever? Bestleeever? Number 4 was submitted by TheLangenator. Yeah, you guys need to not have complicated usernames. Thanks. One of them slowly moved its head close to her ear and whispered in her own... I'm out of breath. Huge thanks to the folks over... Huge fucking cars. Huge cars are really fucking loud. Yeah, get louder.